What's the state of your website? If you're looking for a new digital experience platform or DXP to run your digital experiences, I have the book for you. The Agile Brand Guide to Digital Experience Platforms is part of my best-selling series of MarTech books. In this book, I explore and demystify DXPs and look at the roles a digital experience platform should play, the different types on the market, as well as how to initially evaluate platforms, then how to best implement a DXP once you've selected it. The book also features a foreword from Rupali Jain, Chief Product Officer at leading DXP provider Optimizely, as well as several other thought leaders in the industry. Learn more and get a copy in print or digital now by going to the Agile Brand Guide website at www.agilebrandguide.com.
Hi, this is Greg. Look for my book, The Agile Brand, on Amazon or on my website at theagile.world. Welcome back to The Agile World. This is Greg Kihlstrom. I've been talking for the last couple episodes about the external factors that have changed in the world, in society, in technology that have really necessitated an Agile brand to come to being. So the first episode, I talked about social transformation, and not just social media, but really how our buying habits, whether that's researching, buying, talking about things, referring, word of mouth, all of those types of things have really changed due to not only the internet, but also social media, and how that's really affected our social behaviors. In the last episode, I talked about brand as experience and brand as relationship. I used the example of the Nike Plus app, where Nike was smart enough to adopt something, in this case, an app that people use, practically on a daily basis, with that really fits their lifestyle and inserts Nike into their lifestyle. And having done this since 2006, I think when it was first created, really put them ahead of the curve and really not only allowed them to be used by their customers often and daily, but it was really in line with not only the company mission, but its values and everything. Today, I'm going to talk about market disruption. So when we're talking about some of the factors that have influenced and caused brands to need to be more agile, market disruption is surely one of them. So I mean, there's any number of examples that I could use. In a few episodes, I'm going to talk a little bit about a brand that I really admire for being agile in many ways, really just agile as a company even, which is Netflix. But there's several other companies, such as Uber. Certainly great example of, while they've had certainly their share of difficulties in some areas, completely disrupted an industry. And this seems to be more and more prevalent, where there are certain types of business models and economic models that are increasing. And so, this whole idea of a more the gig economy, for instance, which Uber is certainly a part of. Some of these shifts in employment practices and things like that have really transformed the way that brands need to interact with customers. So, everything from taxi companies needing to scramble to to try to figure out how to counter this completely disruptive market, to in other smaller examples. I mean, I think you look at point of sale at restaurants, cafes, things like that. So the Square app, I use this when I sell books. I've been on a bit of a promotional tour recently, and use a little Square app to sell books when I'm out at an event or something like that. Completely transform this idea of these big hulking cash registers that who would have thought 10 years ago, 20 years ago, that these things would ever go away. But now, you go to a lot of coffee shops, really stores anywhere, and you start seeing, okay, well, now they're using iPads, and it's so easy. It's such a no-brainer that it's hard to imagine that we ever existed a different way. And yet an entire market has been disrupted and has actually facilitated other things happening. So by those systems becoming easier to use, now it's actually easier to set up a business. It's actually easier to start new things like that. This is happening. I work a fair amount in the financial sector as well, happening a lot. I mean, fintech, is certainly a well-known term, and certainly disrupting traditional banking, traditional investment, all of those types of areas where, people are less likely in the cases of banking, people are less prone to go into online brand or to I even said online, but they're less likely to go into physical branches to perform things. Why would you need to? You have a mobile app that you can scan checks in and stuff like that. But things like everything, PayPal has existed for a while, but services like Venmo and other things, Acorns as an investment platform, all of these services, they've really embraced this idea of a more digital first mentality, and are really changing the way that traditional institutions are behaving and planning and things like that. And what I would say to really anyone in any industry is, if your industry has not been disrupted, if it's an established industry, if it has not been disrupted yet, it will be. It's really only a matter of time until someone figures out a better way, a different way, a way that is more agile, more consumer centric, more online, all of those types of things. It's really just a matter of time. So, the smart brands, the smart industries will start taking this into account and start changing things on their own. In the next episode, I'm going to talk about exponential technologies and how those have helped create agile brands. Thanks for listening. Have a good week. If you enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, please rate the show on iTunes or contact me through my website at theagile.world. You can find my books, The Agile Brand and The Agile Web, on Amazon and on my website at theagile.world.